Mikey McCoy's life story is not the kind that shows up in glossy magazines or Hollywood scripts, yet it is one that carries all the weight of mentorship, loyalty, and resilience. For years, he was known in conservative circles as Charlie Kirk's right-hand man, but now, in the aftermath of Kirk's assassination, his own life has come into sharper focus. McCoy, still a young man in his late 20s, represents a generation that chose purpose over predictability. At an age when many of his peers were still deciding majors in college or mapping out careers in business, he was already sitting in a room where big decisions were being made, walking side by side with one of America's most influential young conservative leaders. What makes McCoy's path remarkable is how unconventional it was. Raised in a family that valued faith and responsibility, he initially leaned toward a traditional college education. Like most young men, he was wrestling with the question of what to do with his future. That moment of decision changed when Charlie Kirk, during a car ride, unexpectedly asked him questions about Aristotle and Plato. It was not just small talk, it was a deliberate push, a test of his hunger for ideas. Instead of textbooks and dorm rooms, McCoy chose the open road of activism and leadership, entering directly into the demanding world of Turning Point USA. That choice meant no formal degree hanging on the wall, but it also meant an education unlike any university could offer. Traveling the country, managing events, navigating politics, and learning at the feet of a mentor who believed in real-world action. In his role as chief of staff to Charlie Kirk, McCoy became more than an employee. He was a gatekeeper, organizer, strategist, and, above all, a confidant. Those who watched closely saw that he carried a maturity beyond his years. While Kirk spoke on stage and grabbed headlines, McCoy made sure the machinery of influence never broke down. He was the guy behind the curtain, making things happen so the message could reach millions. And in those years, he also built his personal life. He married Elizabeth, known affectionately as Eliza, a young woman equally rooted in faith and conservative activism. Together, they became a visible couple in Turning Point circles, united not just by love but by shared mission. His Instagram biography reflected that union of personal and professional identity, husband, believer, and chief of staff. Yet, as with any public figure tied to politics, Mikey McCoy was not without controversy. The most frequent criticism was that he was too young and too inexperienced to be holding such a powerful position, essentially helping to steer one of the most vocal youth organizations in America. Some saw him as a symbol of nepotism or favoritism within the conservative movement, someone whose closeness to Kirk gave him opportunities that others with more experience might have deserved. His decision to bypass college also became a talking point. Was it a bold leap of faith or a reckless gamble? For McCoy, the answer was simple. Real-world impact mattered more than formal credentials. And while detractors questioned his qualifications, his track record inside Turning Point proved that he could carry the weight. The turning point in his story came with tragedy. On September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was gunned down while addressing an audience at Utah Valley University. The news shook the nation, but for McCoy, it was personal. He had lost not just a leader, but the man who shaped his destiny. The grief was overwhelming, yet when the time came to speak at Kirk's memorial, McCoy's voice did not waver. In front of over 90,000 mourners at State Farm Stadium, he delivered words that will be remembered for years. He declared that the assassin thought he could silence Kirk's voice, but that the attempt had only multiplied it. He called Kirk's death not the end but the beginning of a new wave, a rallying cry for those left behind. He promised that they would never surrender, that Kirk's mission would continue, and that the movement would grow stronger. Those words cemented McCoy's role as more than a behind-the-scenes figure. In that moment, he stepped onto the stage of history. He wasn't just speaking for himself. He was channeling the grief and determination of a movement. His tribute humanized Kirk, portraying him not just as a political warrior, but as a mentor and brother. He recalled the small, personal moments, the advice given on quiet car rides, the encouragement that changed the course of his own life. It was raw, it was emotional, and it carried the kind of authenticity that speeches can rarely manufacture. Today, with Erica Kirk stepping in as the CEO of Turning Point USA, Mikey McCoy has taken on the role of supporter, stabilizer, and strategist, helping to ensure that the legacy of Charlie Kirk doesn't collapse under the weight of tragedy. He remains committed to the cause, despite the controversies, despite the criticisms, and despite the heavy burden of loss. His age, once used against him, is now a reminder that young leaders can rise quickly in the face of necessity. His lack of formal education is framed by his supporters as proof that mentorship and real-world action can be just as valuable as classroom learning. His marriage to Elizabeth gives him a foundation of stability as he navigates the turbulence of leadership. And his controversies? They are the marks of a man who stepped into the fire and refused to walk away. Mikey McCoy's story flows seamlessly with Charlie Kirk's, but now, for the first time, his own light shines through. He is no longer just a man standing behind the curtain. He is part of the new front line. His loyalty has become his identity, and his tribute shows that sometimes, in losing someone you love and respect, you gain a mission that you cannot turn away from. And now, I want to bring this to you. What do you think about Mikey McCoy's journey? Do you believe skipping college to follow a mentor was a bold decision or a reckless risk? Do you see his loyalty as admirable, or do you wonder if it tied his fate too closely to one man? And when you think about the way he spoke at Kirk's memorial, do you see an example of courage that can inspire your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it together. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more, and join us as we keep exploring the stories behind the headlines.